So you're an actor and you want to improve your acting skills, be a better communicator, create more truthful and engaging characters, and ultimately work more and to a higher level. I mean, that's the dream, right? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how understanding and using the technique of emphasis can transform your acting for the better. So strap in, watch the video, and pick up a tip or two. Hey, I'm David and welcome to 5 Minute Acting Coach, your complete online guide to acting training wherever you're at. In this video, we're going to look at emphasis and the ways it can be used to help actors communicate character more effectively and truthfully. And down below, I've made sure you've got the links you need to get even more free resources to help you on your journey. In return, it'd be great if you could like and subscribe so more actors can find us and join the family. So, let's get to it. Here's the 5 Minute Acting Coach Guide to using emphasis to dramatically improve your acting. When we think about emphasis, we're thinking about where we place some form of stress in order to draw the audience's attention to a particular word or phrase or emotion or image or plot point or moment of importance or attitude. We can use the skill of emphasis physically too. Perhaps we want to draw attention to like a particular gesture or movement, or even emphasize a relationship or a stage dynamic through the use of proxemics or semiotics. However, we tend to think of emphasis as being like a vocal technique, and that's what we're going to be focusing on in this video. By speaking a word or phrase in a specific way, we can create a particular response within the audience, and in doing so, we can bring that piece of text into focus for a reason. And of course, we most commonly use this technique when we're already engaged in developing a character. When we're in the rehearsal room, when we know what we're doing. Now, we can play around with stressing different words out of context, but in terms of applying this technique, you'll want to be purposeful and be working from a place of knowledge. When you're exploring a character, you're always thinking about the impact you want to have on an audience. Perhaps that has to do with the emotional or the energetic journey you want to take them on. Maybe it's the focus you want them to have within the narrative of the scene or the play as a whole. It's not just always about what feels right to you as an actor. You're also always strategizing about what your audience needs in terms of what best serves the intention of the character, the director, or the playwright. So, we need to know what we're trying to achieve and why when we use a technique like emphasis. Emphasis is just a tool that we use to help us do that. A tool that will help us express our creativity and play the game of acting as well as we can. Like a magician using misdirection to make the audience look elsewhere during a critical moment of sleight of hand. As actors, we can compel an audience, we can lead them to focus on something specific in just the same way. Volume. Altering the volume of a word or phrase is a highly effective way to emphasize it. Raising the dynamic level of a word within the context of a quieter sentence can make it register more obviously in the mind of the audience, giving it a clear sense of importance or purpose. Equally, drawing the volume down to a relative whisper can make it just as obvious, so please remember that volume doesn't always mean loud. Pitch. You can certainly draw attention to a particular word or phrase by altering the pitch. Raising or lowering the pitch in relation to other lines of dialogue will make the specific word or phrase stand out. With a higher pitch, more likely to communicate excitement or extremes of emotion like fear or shock. Lowering the pitch can communicate confidence or appear authoritative or sinister, depending on the context. Just remember that it will all depend on the context and the parameters of the character you are playing, as well as the style of work. Using pitch to emphasize a line of naturalistic text is very different to the way a line might be spoken in a pantomime. Tone. Sudden or dynamic changes of emotional tone within a phrase or sentence can serve to emphasize changes of attitude or emotion, or to reveal the subtext of the character's objectives. Again, this needs to be used with a degree of subtlety, or it can get a bit cartoon-like. Pause. Sometimes, emphasis can be created through the absence of dialogue. By using pause, an actor can emphasize the thoughts or level of tension leading up to it. When you place a pause before a line, or even just a word within a sentence, you can draw a significant amount of attention to your desired focus. Similarly, placing a pause at the end of a line can emphasize the impact of the line itself and allow other characters, as well as the audience, time to register and respond. Attack. Most important of all, you can focus on the vocal attack of a particular word or a sentence by exaggerating the consonants and plosives for maximum effect. Alright, so it seems only right to illustrate this with one of the most famous lines in Western drama. To be or not to be, that is the question. This is a line that perfectly illustrates the potential impact of emphasis in changing the meaning of a sentence. By placing the stress in a variety of places, we're able to completely alter the impact. And if we're thinking that our character is positive or perhaps optimistic, then maybe we emphasize to be or not to be. That is the question. If we think our character is negative and already decided on their fate at this point in the show, then maybe we emphasize to be or not to be. That is the question. If we're feeling determined, sure of what we're thinking, then maybe we emphasize to be or not to be. That is the question. And if we're feeling philosophical, then perhaps it's to be or not to be. That is the question. We can play around with these ideas, but whichever part of the line we emphasize, we've got to do it from the perspective of being an informed actor exploring a character. An informed actor is one who can combine their imagination, performance skills, knowledge and research to fully understand and communicate their goal. Often, understanding the intention or objective of the character is the first step in using a skill like emphasis to maximum effect. So, if your objective was to make it to the station in time to catch the last train home, which single word might you emphasize to best communicate that to an audience? Come on, we're never going to make it home if you don't get a move on. How about this next one? Let's say you wanted to communicate to the audience that your character was falling in love. What might you emphasize in this line, and which technique might you use? I've got something I want to say to you. Something important about you and me. Take some time to experiment with emphasis. And while we're pausing, remember that you can click in the link below and find all the resources I'm using in this video free at 5minuteactingcoach.com, which is also where you can book a one-to-one online acting coaching session. As a practice, why not take the opportunity to explore ways in which emphasis can be placed into this longer monologue? You'll need to think about the character's given circumstances, the facts and situations that define their life, and their responses to the situation. Remember, you're picking words or phrases that you want to specifically communicate to the audience for a specific reason. Also, you'll need to be thinking about the effect you want to have on the characters you're talking to, and that's where having a rich understanding of the text is so important. In this case, you'll just need to use your imagination to invent them. Try and explore those different techniques for emphasis, seeing which would be the most appropriate. I don't know why I did it. It was impulsive. It was utterly mad. One minute I was curled up in bed reading the paper, and the next I was on a plane. I've never done anything like that before. What possessed me? I don't know. But what I do know is that I never felt as happy as I did sitting in that seat, the prospect of adventure ahead of me. I mean, who just gets up and books a flight on the spur of the moment? Some kind of lunatic in love, I guess. But that's me. The man in the seat next to me must have been in his 80s. Through the entire flight he held onto his prayer beads as if he thought the steward might rip them out of his hands at any moment. Even once we'd landed, he was still shaking. I was shaking too, at the excitement of the new life ahead of me. So that was my guide to using emphasis to improve the quality and truthfulness of your acting. Thank you for watching, and I really hope it's been helpful and that you've got enough info to apply this technique to your practical work as you go. Let me know how you get on in the comments and share your experiences, and let me know if there are other videos you'd like to see on the 5-Minute Acting Coach channel. And last of all, don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you've enjoyed this, then, well, check out some of our other videos, or head over to 5minuteactingcoach.com for tons of great free acting resources and to book a live one-to-one online coaching session. Good luck out there, and I'll see you next time.